Hey guys, it's Jorge again. It has been a while. Today is June 11th, and OTAs are just finishing up. There's been a lot of different news happening here and there, but nothing I felt it was important enough that I needed to make a sole video based on just that news. Um, as far as the Dolphins go, we really haven't done anything. Nothing big has happened. Kawamisi was involved in a nightclub violence that happened, I think, around a week ago, and nothing new has come out about it. So, as of right now, he's still on the team. He's not suspended. He's not in trouble. And from my understanding, it was in self-defense. So, we'll wait and see what happens with Kawamisi. But as of right now, everything is okay with him. Dion Jordan has reapplied or applied for reinstatement, and he should be back in the league in about a month or so. What the Dolphins do with him from there, I've heard a lot of mixed reports. I've heard that he's going to come back and probably just be a special teamer. I've heard some people say we might end up cutting him. I've also heard people say that he'll come back and be in the DN rotation. My personal favorite idea is that he comes back and he becomes a strong side linebacker for us. He's a freak of nature athlete, super fast, super for his size, and our linebacking core is lacking depth, whereas our defensive end core has pretty dang good depth right now. So I think we need a more linebacker than we do at defensive end. Anyways, other news, Aqib Talib got shot at a nightclub. Now, he says he was too drunk to remember what happened, but there are some reports out there that another person was arrested for aggravated assault. There's also some rumors out there that Aqib Talib shot himself. Now, this is his second incident with Aqib Talib being involved in guns, and the NFL knows about the first one. They gave him a break in 2011. And now it's looking like he might be suspended. So the Broncos could be hurt by this, and we'll just have to see how it all plays out after the investigations are all done. Arian Foster, Miami has come out and basically said that we're not going to sign him unless there's injuries before the season, or our young guys do not come out and play particularly well in the offseason or preseason. So Jay Ajayi is looking like he's going to be our starter for sure. We did bring in Boom Herron, but we let him go back, and he signed then with the Buffalo Bills. So Boom Herron I don't think we even took him that seriously, and now he's back with the Buffalo Bills. The main reason I wanted to make this video is I have done a little bit more research, had some time off to kind of study and feel everybody else's draft out and feel any major moves or anything that's happened like that. And I kind of wanted to do an early, very, very, very early 2016 season prediction, the season prediction for the 2016 season. So I am going to go by division, and I'm going to give what I believe each team's record will be, and then at the very end I'll go into who I think will be in the Super Bowl and who will eventually win the Super Bowl. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt. These are all very, very early predictions, and things are definitely going to change by the time the season starts. I might come out with a whole another video about a prediction video by week 1, and it could be completely different than this. We'll just have to see. I am going to start with the AFC East with my division personally. I'll start from the bottom to the top. I think the Jets are going to finish in last in our division. They're going to get a 7-9 record. Until they sign Fitzpatrick back, I cannot see them being as good as they were last year. And even if they do sign Fitzpatrick back, I don't think he'll be as good next year as he would be this past year. They did bring in Matt Forte, and he's a stud, obviously. So they might be more balanced. I obviously think Matt Forte is better than Chris Ivory, but I have the Jets going to 7-9. Then I have the Dolphins actually tying with the Jets at 7-9. So it'll depend on tiebreakers or whatever to see who's in third or fourth. But I have my Dolphins going 7-9, and I'll go into more detail into it in a different video. I just feel like we're not good enough yet. We're not experienced enough yet, and it's going to take a while for us to get used to our new coaching staff. I don't think we can do better than 7-9 this year. It would be very hopeful for us to go 9-7, and that's a lot. Right, it has to happen for us to go 9-7. Buffalo Bills have going 8-8. I think they're a pretty darn good team. Rex Ryan tied together with Rob Ryan. I think that's only going to help the two of them, and I feel like that they could be an 8-8 team this year. The Patriots, I have them going 11-5. I would have them going higher, but Tom Brady is suspended for the first 4 games of the year, so 11-5, they're going to easily win the division. And when Tom Brady comes back, he's going to do what he does best and play pissed off, and he's going to be in the running for MVP candidate again. So that's the AFC East. Let's go into the AFC West. Starting from the bottom, I have the Chargers only going 5-11. I don't think they improved that much. Their defense is still going to be kind of cruddy. Their running back game, I mean, you hope Melvin Gordon does better next year, but you never know. They brought in Travis Benjamin as a wide receiver. I don't think Joey Bosa makes that big of a difference in year one to help that defense improve enough to make them contenders of any sort. So I have them going 5-11. The Chiefs, I have them going 9-7. They're a well-rounded team on offense and defense, and I feel like that they are very capable of going 9-7 and maybe even further, maybe into the playoffs. The Raiders I have tying and going 9-7. They might be a playoff caliber team this year. They have a great young offense full of extreme talent, and they brought in a lot of pieces on defense. They also brought in Asamale on the offensive line. That'll help them out there as well. I have them going 9-7. The Broncos I have going 10-6. I think they will win the division again. I don't think that they're going to be as dominant a defense as they were last year. They lost some pieces, and this Aqib Talib thing could hurt them early on in the year too. And the offense also loses the leadership of Peyton Manning, and I don't feel like Paxton Lynch or Mark Sanchez is going to do enough to help the team manage to be as good as they were last year. Now on to the AFC North. I have the Browns going 3-13. They lost tons of pieces this year and only brought in rookies, so I don't think they're going to be better than next year. I think they might be in the running for the number 1 overall pick next year. The Ravens have going 8-8. I think they are going to be a lot better than last year. They had a lot of injuries last year. They were talented enough to go 8-8 or 9-7 last year, and they just had too many injuries. I do think that they're the third best team in their division, and I have them going 8-8. The Bengals, I have them going 10-6. They are one of the most talented teams in the NFL. Dalton has only shown improvement. They have A.J. Green. They have a twin-headed beast backfield. Their defense is outstanding. The Bengals, I think, are going to go 10-6. The Steelers are going to go 11-5 in my prediction. Their offense, when healthy, it's the number 1 offense in the league, the most well-rounded offense by far, in my opinion. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and they even got Ladarius Green as a tight end now. I think he's more athletic than Heath Miller. And then obviously Big Ben. That offense is just explosive. That defense can't be much worse than they were last year, so I think they'll be slightly improved on defense, and their offense will be good enough to carry them to 11-5. The last division in the AFC, I have the AFC South, and I have the Titans going 5-11. I do think they've slightly improved, and their division is one of the weaker in the NFL. That being said, I think every team in the division has improved this year, so I do think the Titans are still going to be far below 500 and be in the running for the number 1 overall pick again. Jacksonville, they improved a lot. They are everybody's, rising team, them and the Raiders, but everybody thinks the Jaguars might make the playoffs. I've even seen predictions of them going to the AFC title game. It's their first year with a lot of these pieces playing, guys. You have Miles Jack, new. You have, I think they got Prince Amukamara. He's new to the team. They have Jalen Ramsey, new. Dante Fowler never played last year. That's 4 key pieces that are going to be new on the starting end of the and 3 of those pieces have never played it down in the NFL. So the offense is young and talented, and I think this whole team is going to be great. In 2 to 3 years, I think they'll be really good. But this year, I just had them going 8-8. The Colts, Andrew Luck's going to be healthy, and I think they go 9-7. I think they are a very talented team on the offensive end. Their defense is improving, and I could see them going 9-7. The Texans, I have going 9-7 and winning the division. I could even see them going 10-6. Their defense was already studly, and they brought in some weapons on offense. I think Lamar Miller could be a top 5 running back in the league next year. Maybe even top 3 or 4, depending on how things go. But I think the Texans' offense has improved enough to make them a very solid 9-7 next year and win the division. The NFC now. Let's go to the NFC East. This division is probably the worst in football. You can make the argument at least. Well, them in the NFC South. I'll go with the NFC East first. The Eagles, I have them going 5-11. I don't think they're great. They gave up a lot of draft picks to go get Wentz. I don't think Wentz was enough to put them into above 500 territory. Their running game isn't going to be very good. Their wide receivers aren't very good. Their defense was atrocious last year. They could be in the running for top 3 pick next year. I have the Giants going 7-9. I do like the Giants. They brought in some key pieces. I could definitely see them going 9-7 or 8-8. I just feel like the Redskins and Cowboys are better teams right now, and I think the Giants will lose enough of their division games and other games to go 7-9. Cowboys have been going 9-7 and coming in second in the division. I do think that offense is going to be beastly, but their defense could be atrocious, and people have been making the argument with Ezekiel Elliott, you'll be able to control the clock. But with no defensive line on the other end of the spectrum, other teams can totally control the clock on you. So, I mean, other teams' defenses are going to be able to stop Ezekiel Elliott as a rookie easier than it is going to be for the Dallas defense to stop other teams' running games. In my opinion, when Ezekiel Elliott gets used to the NFL, he will be beastly. And that offensive line is undeniably top 3. In most cases, everybody will say it's the number 1 offensive line in the NFL, and I would agree with that. That being said, their defense is going to be bad, and I think they'll only be able to pull out a 9-7. Redskins, I have them going 9-7. They won the division last year, and I feel like that they even improved this offseason. They got Josh Norman on the defensive end, and I didn't like Doxson in the first round. And I think that the running game will be a little bit better than last year. It was pretty bad last year. But I think the running game will be a little bit better, and they'll be able to win the division this year. The NFC West, this is maybe the best division in football. You have the 49ers, they're going to be trash again. I have them as a top 3 pick. They're going to be 3-13 in my opinion. They've just lost so much talent in the last few years. It's not even their fault. It's just all these injuries or retirements. They're not going to have a chance to even be close to 500 in my opinion. The Rams have going 6-10. They are a very talented young team, and it's going to take a little bit for Jared Goff to get used to everything and to get caught up into the NFL. Maybe next year they could be a playoff team, but as of right now, I don't think that they're going to be able to, especially with the Cardinals and Seahawks being as good as they are. Next, I have the Seahawks going 11-5. Russell Wilson proved at the end of the year that he didn't need a great offensive line, and he can still put up amazing numbers. And that defense is still really, really, really good. Their running game's going to be good again. Thomas Rawls is there. They picked up C.J. Prosise. They picked up another running back in the draft. Between those 3, they're going to have great depth on the running game. And Russell Wilson in that offensive passing game is going to be pretty dang good again. So I think that team is going to be vying for one of the top seeds in the NFC. Though I do have the Cardinals going 12-4. I think the Cardinals are the most balanced team in the whole NFL. Their run game, their pass game, their whole defense is all well balanced and full of stars and studs. I think that they made an extremely smart decision by getting Chandler Jones. They lost a 2nd-round pick out of it, but I'll take Chandler Jones for a 2nd-round pick any day of the week. You know, a surefire stud defensive lineman for a 2nd-round pick that you don't know anything, you don't know how they're going to produce in the NFL. Dang, I'll take that all the time. And then you bring in Robert Nkemdiche, and I think he was one of the best fits. This is probably the best team for him to go to. Bruce Arians in that locker room has shown that they can handle people with bad character and turn them into all-stars with good character. Tyrann Mathieu is an example. So I think this is a perfect fit. And their defensive line was the weakest. Defensive ends probably was the weakest on their whole team, and they just improved it drastically. So I think they'll be one of the best teams in the NFL next year. NFC North, I have the Lions going 5-11. Their defense isn't good enough. Their running game is going to be terrible again. I think they're going to be vying for a top 3 to top 5 pick next year. The Bears, I have them going 5-11 as well, although I think they had the potential to go 8-8. It's just they're losing Adam Gase as their offensive coordinator. He got the most out of Jay Cutler that we've ever seen. And they also lost Matt Forte on the offensive end. And yes, Langford did good last year, but I don't think he'll produce as well as he did last year. The Vikings had them going 10-6. They're a sneaky team. Not too many people talk about the Vikings, but they are very, very talented. That running game is beast. They have good enough wide receivers. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't make a ton of stupid mistakes, and that defense is very, very solid. So I think the Vikings will go 10-6, and they'll be vying for a playoff spot for sure. Then I have the Packers going 12-4. They're going to be one of the best teams in the league next year. Healthy Jordy Nelson coming back. That puts Randall Cobb in his proper position as a slot receiver. Eddie Lacy slimmed down some. I think he'll be a relatively good running back again. That defense is going to improve a little bit. And Aaron Rodgers is another year with a great quarterback in the league. And I think the Packers are going to come out and be one of the best teams in the NFL. NFC South, this has probably been consistently over the last 5 to 10 years the worst division in football. Then you have the Saints. I have them going 5-11. I like the Saints. They're one of my favorite teams, but I don't feel like they improved in almost any area on the entire team except the tackle. Who they bring in? I'm gonna forget. They brought in a D tackle in free agency, and they drafted one as well, I believe. And besides that, they lost some depth. They brought in James Laurinaitis, I believe, a linebacker, and he was not very good last year. I just feel like that defense is absolutely atrocious. And that offense is pretty darn good, but I don't think it can carry the team enough to deal with that terrible defense. The Buccaneers have been going 7-9. They're still pretty young. They have a lot of talented players, but I don't think they're there yet. Give them 2 more years, and they might be in the playoffs again. Falcons have them going 9-7. This is one of those teams. I had a lot of other teams. I said that they might be able to go higher than I projected them. The Falcons I could see being worse than I projected them. I projected them at 9-7 right now, but they're just so inconsistent. Matt Ryan is all over the place, man. I mean, would they go start out 7-0 and then they flamed out and they won like 2 of the next 7 games or something? Man, they flamed out hard. It's one of those teams that is talented enough that they could be, a 10-win team, but they are so inconsistent they could also be a 4-win team, 5-win team. You never know, and I think 9-7 was a fair assessment on this one. Then you have the Panthers, the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. I have them going 11-5. They did lose Josh Norman and a few other key pieces, but they drafted a bunch of corners, and I feel as though they did a smart move by letting Norman go. He wasn't worth the amount of money he got paid, in my opinion, my humble opinion. But I do still think they're the dominant force in that division by far, and they're going to be vying for one of the best teams in the NFC for sure. That's all the divisions in the football, in the NFL. As far as the Super Bowl goes, I have it coming down to, drum roll please, out of the AFC, I have it going to be the Patriots. Tom Brady's going to come back and he's going to be on the tear. He's going to be pissed off that he got suspended, and that him and Belichick are just going to come out and they're just going to destroy the league when they come back together. I think they're going to come in and they're going to breeze through the first round, or they're going to have the first round bye, in my opinion. Oh wait, excuse me. No, they don't. I don't think I have them as the number 1 team in the AFC. Do I? Oh, yeah, I do have them as the number 1 team in the AFC. I have them getting the bye, and then I have them, I think they'll beat the Steelers in the AFC Championship game, and then they'll go to the Super Bowl. I think they're just too good, man. Tom Brady, it's just too good, and Bill Belichick. Out of the NFC, drum roll please, I have the Arizona Cardinals going to the Super Bowl. I think, as I talked about them before, and I give them high praise, I think they're the most well-rounded team I've seen in years. I can't find a big weakness on the team, man. Patrick Peterson and Gerard Powers. Their defensive line is beast. Their linebackers are pretty dang good. On the offensive end, they have pretty dang good offensive linemen. Their running game's good. Their quarterback's good. Their wide receivers are good. They're just well-rounded everywhere. And they got great leadership everywhere. And their coach is good. I think the Cardinals can definitely make the Super Bowl this next year. A lot of people have told me Carson Palmer can't do it. He's a choke artist. Well, I think he's going to prove you wrong. It doesn't have to be fantastic because the rest of the team is so darn good. In that Super Bowl, I do have the Cardinals winning 34-27, and I have Carson Palmer winning the MVP. I think the Cardinals are just, like I said, too well rounded. Their defense is too good, and their offense is too good combined, and their good coaching. They're going to pull off the win in the Super Bowl this year. That's basically everything I had to say. That's my early prediction for the 2016 NFL season, and again, I'm probably going to change a lot of this around. So yeah, you guys can comment, give me your thoughts and feedback on all of it, and go Dolphins.